Hi. Ez here, super fresh off of a beautiful session with one of my brothers. You know, I do the masterminds, man-embodiment masterminds, and it's what I love to do. I have a number of topics. I've decided to do something different for the next couple of months. Gabriel, what's up, my brother? Open the chat here as well. So I just come out of one of my masterminds. Fucking love this work. I'm also feeling really grateful to be in a place where essentially all of the work that I'm doing is supremely aligned, and I'm still checking to make sure it's on point, fulfilling to myself and beneficial to those around me, and not just to myself and those next to me, but it's going to be beneficial for these men in the next generation, for the men that they get to have, and the women in their lives, right? So the mastermind is powerful because it's a relationship mastermind, but it's going to help them in business. Why? Because business is relationships. We're on ships of relating. We talk about this in the men's group. Hopefully you're doing well, brother. Hope this week's been good to you. You know, I've come to this place where I was like in a super download not too long ago, and I had over, I want to say like 90 topics that I'd like to address personally with Instagram and within the groups come to me. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm not going to spend a lot of time making special videos, or unless something happens and I can, you know, get back with the production crew that I was working with before. But I want to actually take some time and shortly speak to these topics. So I might do one live a day if things work out for the next, I'll say 60 days, and maybe I'll save some of this stuff for workshops. So I have a couple of topics, and let me get, you know, your thoughts on which one you'd like to discuss. If you want to jump on a live with me now, my brother Gabriel, we can actually have a little short discussion about it, or if you just want me to go off the top, you know, this is one that I think is interesting and definitely alive for me right now, is how we honor our exes. I'm gonna probably list 5 of them. Another one is, and super alive for me, is the rapid reframe. This is what I'm covering right now in the masterminds, and also I'm utilizing it. I do the masterminds, but I take myself through it. And wow, have I been feeling really fortunate that I have that ethos, because I'm seeing where this is showing up in my life, especially with me in the police a couple days ago. The next thing is your purpose, right? Who is your real beloved? This is for the men, right? Your purpose. And I think of a Slum Village verse I'll tell you when we get in the men's group on Wednesday. The next one, being true, taking off the layers, the practice here. Another topic. Oh, and you might like this one. Our community pimping. Okay? And our community hoeing. And I'm talking to the spiritual community. The vampiric nature that is really not necessarily spoken to all the time, that goes on now. And there's many degrees of ways that we can speak to this, because in essence, we do live quite a vampiric experience here in 3D, 45D, but like being within this dimensionality, I think that's more of a metaphysical discussion. But looking at the way some people are being in their lack of awareness, and even those who have come into an awareness, there's still a journey for us to come into more awareness, more awakening in terms of how we navigate with people. So the spiritual pimping, the pimping that goes on, it's well known. You know, other folks, I believe from what I'm hearing, Tulum is starting to gain a reputation for fuckery, for some fakeness, but also there's some really true blue focused individuals here who are really putting in the work to expand themselves amidst, you know, a lot of different distractions in the town. So how do we contend with that? And also, how do you find your direction in a space like Tulum? I've really put a lot of focus on that over the years, so I'm really happy with what's unfolding for me here. And also the role that I'm sure I get to play for people who are coming from out of town, who are serious and who are invested in their growth, and also who are open to some guidance from someone who's been here and who's also connected to people who've been doing it even a lot longer than myself. Pay for it. Your internship with life. I think that's the last one. You tell me, brother, which one would you like to chat on now, or would you like me to expound on? Gabrielle or my Tulum? Me Tulum. You let me know. It was a pleasure running into you the other day too. I saw you at the beach, my dear. And you see me running after my truck? Coming on, I saw you on the rocks, right? But I couldn't stop because I had to get my truck. You want to get into the pimping? Pimping since been pimping? Now, first of all, I'd like to make a disclaimer. Ezria has had no part in the ism, but I do pay attention. And I have been traveling. And I have been able to hold space for people in various degrees of certain industries. And so getting a different perspective and game as to what's going on here. So if you like the first one, all right, so we're going to leave the pimping alone. So I put the disclaimer out, so when I come back to that one, I might even have a real P on here to share. Honoring our exes. I like this one too, and that did show up as the first one. What does that mean? Who are your exes to you? Okay? What has your journey been? A lot of times, Jacqueline, hello my dear, good to have you here. Also, I would love to plan a call with you in the next couple of days that I'm committing to. I'm speaking to the fact that I've got close to 90 topics that I'd like to expound upon. Some of them I'm going to get into because we'll start up the Obsidian Soul Lounge. Let me turn this music down. Turn it down. The Obsidian Soul Lounge, as it was before. There we go. And unless you like the music in the background, and then also, I think some of it's just too such different metaphysics that can just keep it simple. But I'm not going to overly fancify my page. I'm just going to get a couple points out and share these things, and then I'm going to take a nice break. Gabriel, you want to hop on? Yeah, brother. You have been invited. And so my brother has requested that we speak about this journey of honoring our exes. Can you hear me? Can you see me, player?
All good, brother.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Good to
¿Qué
see you,
pas- qué
man.
pasó, mi
Todo
hermano? Likewise.
bueno. I'm good, man. I'm here. I'm in the jungle spot now.
You-
We're getting to enjoy the sun. The sun has gone down, and I'm just like, wow, what a journey it has been for me to come into this new space, as you also know. And I'm feeling so happy. John of Light, what's up, my brother? I was just playing the harp that is named after you. That's right. I named the harp after you. And the drum, that beautiful drum with the hunapku on it, which I've been able to journey with. So I got my brother Gabriel on here, and I have a number of topics that I think I'm just going to drop in either every day or every other day. I'm not going to make it too fancy. I'm not going to do any funny editing. I just want to share these points, get that out, and then I'm going to take time away probably from Instagram after that and just focus on doing the work, right? I'd like to do some physical work, and I think if all this information's up there, people can just sort through if they find it to be valuable. And so, first, brother, since you're on here and you chose the topic, why did that one reach out to you so much, if you don't mind sharing?
Because I just went through a breakup and that was like super powerful because there was no like negative energy towards it.
Amazing. So it's a different feeling for you from your previous breakups, huh?
Yeah, and I've been noticing how every relationship that I've had is like a contract that helps gain wisdom, helps gain more awareness as to where you are and to stop like blaming people for things going wrong. It just might not be the right fit for you, but how much self-love do I have within me to end something that isn't beneficial for me or her just because I feel lonely or want that companionship at that time.
Love it. We've been able to talk about a lot of our journeys within the men's groups, and I think that's a really courageous thing to do, and it does take practice also, right? Even one time is the practice necessary to make a decision regarding a relationship that is in your truth and aligned to you. They may not feel good at the moment, but it ultimately sets people free to be themselves, and first and foremost you. So the topic of honoring your ex, I also apply that to yourself too, and that's kind of my different spin on it, because you're also breaking up with a version of yourself. In
Hmm.
truth, that's what's really happening, right? You're observing, you're reflecting this person who was another reflection of you with a different body. You guys merge, but all is one, right? All is self. So we use that where we want to, and we forget it where we need to come to this learning. And what you're expressing is that you made a decision, however difficult it may be, it was for the best. And so when I speak to honoring your exes, it's honoring your old self as you learn this lesson, and then also reflecting on the experience and the things that you learned in the relationship, which should, if you're fortunate and you've come out of it, open up the space for you to be in a space of gratitude. I currently, even though I broke up with Danny in December, and of course I want to be respectful, Now I'm in this quiet space. I'm in my own space, right? And we were in a little apartment for the years that we were together, and then we moved into a big house, and then we went this way and that way. And now I'm getting the time alone in the real quiet, jungle quiet, to feel a little bit of not regret for the decision I made, because I know why I made the decision, but to feel within myself, man, I had dreams with this person, you know? And now I'm getting to live that dream in a space. I think she wanted to move to the jungle. I was like, nah, not right now. But here I am, and I'm loving it, and this is where I needed to be, but I needed to be there by myself. And I have now the space to reflect on all the lessons. And when I think about her and I think about everything that went down, you hear that? Lizard in the background doing that cheep, 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 cheep. You know, it's like I'm back in Hawaii with the koki frogs. Well, I have a lot of love and appreciation for her and what went down because I couldn't have learned any other way. I had to be with her to love so deep. And now I'm free because of the decision I made. I chose to move forward, even if she had broke it off. It still happens. But if one person's able to move forward in the fullness of who they are and be like this, that means it's going to, by virtue of correspondence, it should work out like that for her. Now I get to go back over all the lessons and feel the feelings, even if there's some things that I don't like that I feel like, oh, but I can reconcile them because I've had time and
Mm.
space to learn the lessons. And because this isn't my first relationship, I've been married 3 times. I've been in many relationships. My journey has been to dive into love, be broken, almost to what I think I couldn't come back from, and then to come back, pull the pieces, and then come into a more deep, broad experience of love. And then extends. The love that I've learned in relationship extends to all of my relationships, to the way that I look at brotherhood, the way that I look at my family, the way that I look at being a parent, you know? So I'm really grateful for that. So the honor I feel comes from honoring yourself, allowing things to pass, and then you automatically will extend that out if you're so willing to. And if you're not able to do that, then there are things to look at. Because ultimately, you're in your body. That's the real connection that you have till death do you part. However you look at death, but beyond that, you're moving forward. That's a gift we're being given today. And you have lessons to go over, to learn, and to take with you that builds your character. However things work out in the relationship, everyone has that potential and opportunity. So I'm going to honor her and honor all of my exes by being an even better man in the next relationship, being even more clear, absolutely contemplating the lessons that I've learned and paying it forward for the time that they spent with me. I'm going to forgive any of the things that I hold against them. I'm not going to let them come around and fuck with me either, because I have boundaries that are a result of previous dynamics. And I'm not saying she's trying to do that. I'm just saying I'm growing up as a man and I'm going deeper into who I'm called to be. And by virtue of the seeds that were planted in that relationship, and the water that was a result of that relationship, and the wind that blew my fruit in a different direction out of the relationship with her and into this life in this space. And I have love in my life. I have my brothers. I have potential. And I'm even open to, when the time comes, being able to sit down and commemorate and celebrate the journey. But that happens in its own time. I won't rush that. That flower can blossom in its own time. Here's me. Love to know your thoughts on all that I just shared, and what resonates. And then, yeah, where you at, brother?
Beautiful, brother. I thought that was very powerful. I'm in a similar mind frame, but more going internally, realizing that, like searching for a love outside of me, that's not what we're actually looking for. The love is inside of you. So I realized that, things weren't really flowing with her. But it was like we were both fortunate because we were trying to give each other the benefit of the doubt, or we really do care about each other, but it just didn't seem like the fit. And I felt it was necessary to speak my truth, which is something that hasn't been hard for me to do. I, in the past, have tended to kind of like distance myself so they would kind of end it, and that felt better. But now it was very powerful for me to speak my truth and say, like, hey, like, I don't think this is going to work out because right now I'm in a place where I'm not okay. I don't want to search for somebody right now, the love I'm looking for is the love inside of me for me. So that does myself and you a disservice of dragging you along into something that I know isn't really what I'm looking for just because I don't feel good or I feel, like alone right now. I'm never alone. And I think that it's these times of solitude that really help us grow and really get to know each other. So every relationship that I've had feels like it's just been like a contract of learning of like where you are leaking, of how to patch yourself up, kind of like a puzzle, so that when the right one comes, you're not projecting or leaking your fears or whatever the case may be onto them, which could like make it not work out. But kind of like learning from each relationship that you've had. So one, most importantly, to heal yourself, to love yourself from within. So when she does come, you're probably not even looking. She just comes because you've like created this beautiful garden of your home, of your heart, that she's like a bee that's just attracted to it because that's what you're radiating. So that's where I'm at right now. And like I don't talk down or talk bad about my exes. That's not something that I've ever really done. Even if they like do something really bad, there's no sense to me in revenge. It's more just like, where's my peace of mind and my conscience? But this time it was super powerful for me to speak my truth, especially in a time where I'm going through some things where I could use the support, but that's not enough to drag somebody along that isn't really the fit for you, just because you feel the need to like have somebody there to like comfort you or talk to or sleep with. So I feel like that was a really powerful chapter that I had to end to begin a new one, to start to see a new version of me and let go of old fears.
Man, I think it's a lot of really powerful things that you're speaking to, especially, just like the way that you're contemplating one, the honoring of your ex in not, we don't have to blame them. We went on this journey. There's a sacred contract, so recognizing that, taking the time to come into your own bubble as a man, and also considering how we can use each other in a way that's not beneficial because we don't feel the abundance of life. You have support. If you need to lean on people or learn how to lean on yourself in some ways, this is the time to do it because life provides. Life provides, and we can testify. Both of us can testify as it is here.
Mm.
And then also choosing and making some decisions that you know aren't using this other body and this other person, which ultimately leaves us both empty. Now you know that you can be in that space, that you have other ways. You've honored her. When we're speaking to honoring your ex, off the bat, not going to use you for sex at this point. I'm not going to use you as a crutch because that disempowers both of us, and truth, for sure me, right?
All
I'm
right.
not going to talk away about you. You can speak the truth. If something happened that's not good, anyone can speak about it because it's worse when you hide a true thing that happened, especially if it's an injustice. But if there's no reason, why bring it up, right? If everything's cool and you guys just grew to your potential, because every person is the right person for the time that they're with you. That's one thing that shifted in my mind. Whoever I'm with at the time, that's all there is, right? That's the right person for me. Meaning in a relationship, in a container. When I'm with my brothers, you guys are the right person for me at that time. And that helps me to be present and really grateful and attentive to what's going on in our worlds as best as I can, despite whatever's going on with me. And so honoring your old self, because that's an ex that goes with your partner. You guys had an identity together. So part of that identity that you say goodbye to is also you, an old you, and then honoring that person from the jump. Meaning, if things go a certain way, how can you give them the dignity? How can you step away? How can you give yourself, the space that you need to come into the right frame of mind in regards to everything that's happened, to digest it, to integrate it, and then to bring that forth so you can be that beautiful garden. And I see you working on that. I really love it because I love bees. I love gardens. Now I get to have a garden now that I've moved. I'm so happy. I'm ridiculously happy, but it's taken a lot of work to come to that place. And I'm someone who's in the past, because of some of the things, I've really sat in the victim seat. I've had a lot of bitterness. The bitterness turned to cancer. That's from high school relationships, right? Up into my first divorce. And so I decided not to. I'm not going to hold on to these things, and it's really about that reframe and actually saying, I want to honor you now. I may slip. It may not always look like that, but that's my baseline. When left alone, when I can relax and breathe, I go back to gratitude very easily, and then I start to see people and things and occurrences in a different light, which will allow me to be in that space of honoring. So I want to call everyone who's on this call and on this vibe who catches this later, contemplating what it is to honor your quote unquote ex. Honoring your ex. I'm not saying throw them a party. I'm not saying like if the relationship was unhealthy, I'm not asking you to go back. I'm asking you to be pulled back into a narcissistic, covert, or overt, dynamic. You don't have to be source for them, but you are a source. And so to remember that means that they are also source. Source under a different guise, source under a different sense of awareness, a different choice in a different prism, with a different mission, but they have one thing in common. We all have that thing in common is we all have a sacred contract with each other. And some people are going to execute the shitty side of the contract, and others get to execute a part that's beautiful. But in the end, they both end up being the same. They're just aspects of the journey that allow us to gain the lesson. And because we gain the lesson, no matter how many times we have to repeat this thing, life is good. Life is bountiful, plentiful, abundant.
Yeah,
It's good. So
and
go for it.
something that you said that really stood out is that they all have something in common. All the relationships we've ever had, whether it's a friendship, parents, or romantic, they're all there to help us see a different version of ourselves, to help us heal. And for me, it's like, how long do you want to keep pointing the finger? Oh, because you did this, then I did that. No, it's all you,
Right.
and they're a beautiful reflection of that in their own way. And when you get triggered or when something gets uncomfortable, they're giving you that medicine. Like, look, this is what it is. This is what this is like the path that you should take, because it's the one that you don't want to, because it's the one that's uncomfortable, because it's the one that there's fear around, or sadness, or like a block. It's like, hey, I'm showing you this, and like it's both ways. And I feel like our whole lives we've essentially just been talking to ourselves. It's just people provide that beautiful mirror to have that exchange of energy and love and compassion, or like even when it's not so good, that like it's not so good for a reason.
Right.
Why are you so triggered? Why are they so triggered? And if they are, can you still hold your center? And if not, why not? What's happening within you? So there is no blame ever. It's just, how are you?
Mm. I love it, brother. How are you? Where are you? When are you? What's going on within you? How are we connected? You know, to contemplate on those things is going to open the door. If you're having a hard time, if you're someone who's watching who's really pissed off about what happened, but those people help you to become more of who you are. They give you the opportunity. They serve as the catalyst. In that, I believe it's Carolyn Mist, that Sacred Contract book. Although I don't want to ruin it for a lot of people, but just the little cliff notes. It's like within the book, and that's just one reframe, is that hey, people can love you so much that they come to be the hardest catalyst for you on this journey. But as you begin to get older, you start to look at things differently. Wow, you can see that that person was offering a difficult but beautiful experience for you to grow in a way that you could not have grown without them.
Mm.
And so, wow, okay then, let me honor them. Or let me make the choice off the bat before even getting to contemplate, what up, big? It's my sister on right now. Before getting to actually contemplate all the things that went wrong, you can make the choice to say, I'm going to honor all of my exes. What does that mean to you? Again, it doesn't mean that you got to reach out to them. You can honor them within the space of your heart. You can honor them for the journey that they've taken with you as you honor yourself.
Mm.
Because if they're in fact were a part of you, they're a part of you. Now, that part is able to move on, and then you can take the time. It's going to open up a door. The honoring of an ex gives you the opportunity to open up the door to be fully in what you are there. Otherwise, you could be thinking things and having other energies pulling at you, right? Not allowing you to be more fully in the relationships that you're in now. So I want to expound just a little bit and say an ex could be an ex business relationship, ex previous, the old. That's what I'm saying. Honoring a former version, but we're going to use the word ex. Okay, an old business relationship, a friendship, a very intimate friendship, right? A former version of yourself, a way that you used to look at yourself, and then something came along in life and showed you that you weren't what you thought you were, or you don't have to operate like that. You were doing some dirt, and you decide, that's not the way that I want to go. That's a former version of you. So the X, the real jewel in that is identifying how you can honor a former version and a former contract that allows you to come into a new way of being.
Mm.
Because all is self, right? So
All this stuff.
here's the application. You can use the law of correspondence. Now, slightly metaphysics, right? Same with Ho'oponopono. You're using the external projection of your insides, and you can work backwards. You could say, I'm going to honor my exes. And by virtue of that, you can honor yourself. You can say that I'm going to honor myself, this full version of myself. What are all the pieces that got me to be what I am now? Well, all the pieces are everything that exists. The trees that fell outside, right? The animals, the things that you ate, the air that you breathed, the construction that you had to live through, the ocean that you swim in. All of this is being projected here, and we're sharing a projection with our hive mind. But all of this exists inside, and a multitude of different versions of it exist. So, for every opportunity that you get to accord gratitude and appreciation and reframe, you get to then expand yourself into a different reality, and that's the gift of being able to honor your ex, is you're honoring your old self and letting it go, versus becoming a ghost within yourself or having all these other versions of self existing in your energetic field. Field, right? Which could be a medium of perturbation, if I was going to describe it properly, because it's not defined. Thanks to Ken Wheeler, field is just a medium, right? Where things occur. So your field is the medium of your energy body, your aura, your consciousness, and things can occur in the seen and the unseen. So by virtue of choosing something that will help your character, that puts you at peace, that promotes forgiveness and gratitude and contemplation, you can do a lot of work. You can do a lot of work, right? It's a principle. All of the subjects that I'm going to go through, they all unfold like that. They are seed subjects, but I can expound if need be on all the different ways that they help you. But just pick the one that applies to you and go all the way, just like people are told to do with the sutras. Many different sutras, right? All coming from one source. So choose a path and go all the way.
Mm.
Switch paths, but keep on going. Turn around and then come full circle and then keep moving forward. Base, base. That's what we get from
I'll say, brother.
yeah, that's some witty information.
Powerful.
Is there anything you'd like to share or add? I think we can keep it short and sweet, but I'd love to get a reflection from you before we close.
Yeah, our lives is a projection of our inner being, of how we feel, of the frequency that we hold. And even like having this communication now, it's like somehow it was manifested subconsciously. Yeah, the relationships that come into our lives, that's where we're at that time. That's what we need. Doesn't have to be good or bad. It just is. And there's always a lesson in it. However way you want to see it, all like you were saying, whether it's business, romance, friendship, family, like they're all happening for a reason, and you're kind of projecting it at that time because at the time that's what you need.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, we could just keep it short and sweet. I appreciate the conversation, the reflection. Um, yeah, I saw that you were live, and then the topics were all hitting. It was just that one stood out a little bit more right
I
now.
love it, brother, because the brother's in order. Yeah, that's the first one on the list too, and actually that one's deep, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can look at it. We can also talk about this in the men's group, family who are on. This is one of my dear brothers here in Tulum, someone I'm very proud and I've had the honor of witnessing his unfoldment. I've even met his parents, and they're also cool. You know what I'm saying? And his cousin. So it's pretty nice to also witness you coming down. And my sister-in-law, soon-to-be sister-in-law, is on here too. So I'm also excited for some of the men who are going to come down for the bachelor party because I'm brother get to be best man in the wedding, to experience something that I'm going to begin to do here. What I'm going to do in honor of that wedding also is do what's called a best men's retreat. All
Mm,
right. And so because the wedding is an important moment in time, what we can do is we can work with the men to clear a lot of their energy and have them holding a certain vibration as you come into your nuptials, and that will be one of the gifts that I want to give to that wedding and the ethos of wedding. I do self marriage. I marry people here. I ain't married myself to people. I've never done that enough times, but I get to help and take the lessons learned. So I'll chat with Stephen about that, and also the men, and see if they're open to it. But I'm going to begin to do that kind of work with the men, preparation, and then they can go into that space, not looking to get wasted, but looking to be in that position that they're already in, for it to be an honor. They can make pieces with their exes. So it's like all these men coming into your space in such a powerful energy to, set that flag in the space to be the pillars of an aspect of the experience, and we all have a good time. But energetically, we can open up a portal for the immortal soul that you are, for the love that we're calling in, and for this process. The subject of this, I encourage everyone to look back, is honoring your exes. What does it mean to you? Again, doesn't mean honoring your exes and making your current person jealous. You know how people are. Sometimes we don't even want to imagine that there ever existed someone before us. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that because that's the reality. So, how do you close that chapter? Your ex, your older version of yourself, the exes that have helped you to become the person that you are now today, saying goodbye and hello at the same time in gratitude, honoring the other pieces of you that exist. How do
mm.
you honor your exes?
Can I say
Lessons learned.
one thing?
You can say two things, player. Go for it.
All right, yeah. Uh, Something that came up for me recently is this poem that's saying no to something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, whether it's your time, is actually saying yes at the same time
Yes.
to what is actually aligned for you. If you're doing, if you're saying yes to something that's just because you feel some kind of way in that moment, but it's not in your highest alignment, you're doing yourself a disservice. So saying no is actually saying yes. It's very powerful. Knowing your no's and speaking your truth sets you free. And that's a beautiful journey that I'm on right now.
I'm so glad that you spoke to that. Alexander's on here, but you're also a king of integrity, right? Did you do a round with those brothers as well?
Alexander
Yeah, our brother Alexander.
Ashari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so while I was part of the first round of Kings of Integrity, and one of the life-changing promises that I made to myself. Patrick, you got to watch this, brother, because you're part of the bridal party, so you know what I'm going to be up to for the bachelor party. Um, but the title is honoring your exes. What you just spoke to, Gabriel,
Yeah.
about your nose and your nose opening up to a yes was the biggest thing that I took. One of the biggest things that I took besides clearing charge, the whole process to clear charge, which was pretty epic. No, like being able to identify and say no to things that aren't in alignment for you takes a lot of honesty, and it takes tremendous willpower nowadays for some of us who have been people
Yeah.
pleasers, and to stand strong in that no by virtue of what that no actually means. And for me, it's been a plus now a little over 2 years now of getting to witness where those no's have really opened me up to be more of myself, and you know created a pathway for me to really live the life that's aligned to me. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that as well, and it's really resonant, and I'm glad to have Alex on here, Patrick. Let's see, Healthy B, Healthy by Cat, Victoria, Holly, B Hills, Edith, Navanika Kalima, forgive me, Romancing Shiva, all day long. David Gold was on here. Love you, David. See you soon. David, DJ, TRX, and Jasmine Billions, Myanmar, Triple Twos, Ricardo, Jacqueline, Fly Guy, Jean of Light, Churchzilla.
Churchill, that's my boy.
That's your boy Churchzilla. That's a hella name. Hella interesting name. Very interesting. Me Tulum. Who's Tulum? Me Tulum. Okay, my brother. I love you. What's tomorrow? Tuesday?
I love you, brother.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
we'll be meeting with the brothers. You know where? Same bat time, same bat channel for mentorship. I'll probably do another live tomorrow, given the time and opportunity and what we have coming for us in Tulum. For the men of mentorship, I'm going to organize our surf journey. And I'm going to try to make sure my vehicle doesn't get towed, park correctly.
Bro, I
So
feel
we'll have a
like this
surfboard
has
stop.
been
Are you
coming up a
down?
lot for you.
Man, I tell you, they're after it. They're after it. So I made it through. I shared in my last life about, I stayed ready for duty and been practicing the swimming, and I ended up going swimming, surfing, far out break, and the worst nightmare. Here come the cops, taking off my license plate. My board got blown away from me, so I'm swimming
I was
with all
watching
my
that.
might
Yeah.
to get to my board. I made it to the board, caught another wave in the shore. I was already toasted halfway to my board. Then I had to run over to the popo. Then they were like, "You've got two choices." I was like, "Okay." They're like, "You can pay this ticket. We take your plates." I'm like, "You already got my plates, which I'd love for you to give back." They're like, "Well, you can have your car towed." Or I was like, "Listen, I got the keys and I'm here. There's no way you guys are towing my car. Come up with another two. You got come up with another one. Once you write me the ticket," and they wrote me the ticket, and then they were kind enough to meet me at the station in 10 minutes, literally, which was I'm surprised for Mexico. You know how the time is out here, so they
Yeah.
made it. I was like, all right, there's a lesson in here, and we squashed it. I got my plates back. I paid half the price, and that's actually the police station in Tulum, the station, the nicest station I've encountered in my life. Facts.
They also
Okay,
took mine once, and they were actually pretty nice. So
they're pretty nice, man. I've had my own run-ins in my
compared to the
journey
ones in the
in many
States, yeah,
countries.
way nicer.
Yeah, Tulum police at the station. I don't know about the beat cops and Cambodia. Changed in Hawaii, of course, changed my life. Because the cops in Hawaii are amazing and hilarious. I'll just say that, you know. Yeah. So not often you see me smiling about the police. There it is. And I also worked in enforcement for a short time, so I know. I'm like, you guys are doing things you don't have to do. You can be better, and it feels good to be able to say that. I'm not gonna pull it off in the States, even though I've tried. So all of us are in enforcement. So I also just recommend people stand up for yourselves. You can stand up for yourself here, even in Mexico. And also, if you're doing something wrong, be honest with yourself. I'm like, okay, you know what? I asked them, if you get stopped and something happens, have them show you what was wrong that you did, have them show you the citation number, and explain it. And then maybe you have to bite it the first time, but the second time it's your fault. So I will definitely park where I need to park. And if they come, and I'm also going to put a lock over my plate. They're not going to be able to. I had certain locks on the plates anyways. That's what bought me time. I'm going to buy myself some more time. I'm going to buy myself a whole lot more time. I might put my own boot on the car. Why not? It's my car. Love you, brother. No, I'm just being facetious.
Love you,
Have a
brother.
lovely night. I'll see you tomorrow or the day after, okay?
Yes,
Definitely.
sir.
Cheers. Peace in. Aloha.
Cheers. Peace. Aloha,
Thank you
brother.
for everyone who's tuned in. Get at my brother Gabriel. It's fantastic. Get at me. I'm also fantastic. Aloha.
Yes, we are.
Shee.